Oh, what's up, Solutionaries? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Maj 2 Ray Show. Appreciate y'all all for tapping in. Let me know where y'all from. Y'all know the routine. You come in, you tell me what city you from. You tell me what platform you watching from. You engage in the show. We try to get 10 folks to give $20 in super chats and promote small businesses that are going around the country. And we got another banger for y'all tonight. Got another banger. This is part two. Last night, I was looking in the comment section, and y'all are really going ham on part one of tonight's conversation, or part one, last night's conversation. This is a part two. Now, obviously, I can't do this whole hour and 30 minutes of a show as it relates to the content that Amanda Seales sitting down with 20 black conservatives yesterday. Obviously, I can't do a whole hour. One, I'm going to get a ding by a copyright strike on YouTube because it's their content. However, I thought that we should have further conversations about this show, some of the weaknesses that are showing up in the conservative space as it relates to their talking points. And so I'm gonna pick. Now, we might do a part three, who knows, but I wanted to talk today about how conservatives in this particular sit down are low-key positioning themselves to almost look like they are in opposition to poor people, middle-class people. Because if you're middle class in America right now, you a couple of paychecks away from poor. That's unfortunately the way that it is. So we're gonna talk about that tonight. But again, I want to show me something in the chat, y'all. Where y'all from? I see Vin Zinger. I see Protocol says peace. These conservatives make it hard for a real one. Rob, what's up? How are you? Rob said it was a disgrace to watch. Hey, Rob, did you watch the whole joint? I haven't. Because I want to make my reactions very organic. So I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've skimmed through. And tonight's conversation, where we pick up today, is going to be more in alignment with how the conservatives in this particular debate are coming up with nothing. They a goose egg. And some of their talking points, I want to hear what their talking points are as it relates to economics, because that's a stronghold as it relates to limited government conservatives. All right. Big Rob said you watched it. Tell me in the comment section before we get all dialed in, Rob, what you thought about it. Freeze Pop Baby is from Philly. What's up, Freeze Pop? How are you? Now, again, guys, I tried not to watch this because of the fact that when we do these reaction videos, I want to make sure that I'm being very organic with y'all. All right. I don't want to sometimes having prior knowledge of what's actually being discussed. You form opinions, you come into safe spaces, and you start looking for your own confirmation bias. And I don't really want to do that. But again, we got some folks watching. If you're watching on X, give me a repost. If you're watching on X, give me a repost. If you're watching on X and you want to communicate in the show, type in, switch over to YouTube, youtube.com/Maj2Ray, and comment in the section. All right, it's very important. Mo Fly Productions. I want everybody to make sure you subscribe to my brother that's on the screen right now, Mo Fly Productions. If you are articulate and want to get media, hire Mo Fly Productions. I get a lot of different media from Mo Fly Productions. I want y'all to subscribe and support the people that support our work. All right. Mo Fly Productions says, saw it, and once again, Jubilee had a hidden hand on the entire debate for sensationalism. Rustic, what's up? How are you? I didn't watch the entire debate because, again, I want these reaction videos to be very, very organic. I think it's very important. Big Rob says they were clueless, no different than the left using prepackaged talking points, a lot of interrupting on both sides. Now, when you watch the Maj 2 Ray show, we are solutionaries. And I want to say we're Americans, but some of you guys are from different parts of the globe, okay? But you are a solution-based person looking for a balanced perspective and a solution to apply to situations. The problem that I saw in last night's episode of the sections that we went over in the show was these conservatives were very talking point-ish, to Rob's point. And talking points going up against somebody like Amanda Seales, who I've disagreed with on certain instances. And I think in this conversation around reparations, she's far more prepared, far more knowledgeable. I do think she interrupted people just like a few people interrupted her. And that's generally why I don't debate the same way. First of all, I want to be very clear before I make this point. Debates are structured. A lot of y'all seen the great debaters with Denzel Washington and missed the whole point. Debates have points. Debates have schedules, are organized. They have winners and clear losers. what people are calling debates, they may be more structured arguing. I don't debate with people. Again, I am from the John Henrik Clark cloth. I debate my equals. All others I teach. And this is going to sound arrogant, but I don't give a fuck. Most of the people that go back and forth with me are not my equals. They have not read enough. They have not had enough lived experience. They have not put in enough community work. They have not even read the fucking Constitution. So because of that, I am not debating somebody. I'm not going back and forth with a motherfucker unless A, it's a huge bag associated with it, and B, there's rules because I want my wins solidified. I want my jacket to be clear that Maj won. Okay? I want you to, I'm from the Kobe cloth. I want to crush you in an actual debate about these things because I'm passionate about it or I'm not talking about it because I want to make you reevaluate your entire life choices up until this fucking point. That's me. That's me. Okay? If you're going back and forth with me, you guys should have watched the Vice. If you guys get a chance, YouTube Maj Toure Vice debate, VICE debate, where I went up against the executive vice president of Gun Violence Prevention of America. Absolutely destroyed her. I want to destroy you. This is a reason why there's a lot of radio stations and platforms that won't have me on because they have their angle. I wouldn't have me on either. You better not. I'll fuck your whole life up. Okay? So saying this to say, our job is to make sure that most of you follow me, you're more right of center. This does not mean that you can't have respect for charity, respect for philanthropy, because some people say, oh, that's just handouts. And sometimes people need a little bit of help. They need a little help up. So, but if you're following me, you're more than likely a little bit right of center. Okay? You believe in limited government. You believe in liberty. You believe in freedom. You believe in no victim, no crime. These are the things that you believe in. And because I'm doing this and these 20 conservatives, in my experience and watching thus far, have such horrible talking points, that our job is to make sure that we're critiquing that. So when we're more right of center and we're up against insane leftist policy, we have correct talking points to make sure that we're chopping up their head. That, like, again, based on what I've saw, none of these 20 black conservatives can hold a candle to Amanda Seales because they never studied the source material. They heard some conservative, so-called conservative, say reparations is bad. Okay? They don't even study what the concept of reparations means. They don't know that other groups of people in America have had reparations given to them by the United States government. They haven't done the study. They're just talking on talking points. And you guys, as solutionaries, okay, we have to be critical of our side. If you teaching somebody how to go fight, you got to let them know when they drop in their hand, they're going to get knocked the fuck out. So if you identify as conservative, libertarian, Republican, whatever, if you want to argue points effectively, knowing actual facts, you won't look like some of these conservatives did in this. So again, guys, that's what tonight is going to be. We're going to go over this. Today's conversation, we're going to talk about these conservatives basically come off like they don't care about working class people. And I know some of y'all dislike that framework. You don't like the word working class. I get it. Because it sounds like a communist term. Okay? But yet and still, when you put that same concept under a different packaging, when you say the working man, blue collar, then you totally understand it. You totally get it. It's just that leftists use languaging that you don't like, but when you use the proper term or languaging that you like, then you go, yeah, we should be Trump is standing up for the working man. Trump is standing up for blue collar America. No, the fuck he's not. He's not. He's not. So anyway, the call-in show will be there tonight. Again, everybody, we got about a few hundred folks watching right now. If you're on X, hit the repost button. I'm tired of y'all showing up being voyeurs into this world and not sharing it with the world. We can't complain about the system and the leftists and or Trump or whatever you're complaining about and not highlighting the people doing the work. So I'm going to ask everybody to do two things, maybe three, maybe four tonight. One, repost this if you're watching on X. Just hit the repost button. I can see who reposted, right? That's one. Two, if you're watching on any other platform, repost it, right? And hit the like button. These things are free 99. Cost you nothing, okay? Hit the likes. Everybody, every so often, should just be hitting the like. I say something you agree with, hit the like button. The third thing I'm gonna ask you guys to do, we need 10 folks to give $20 in super chats. If you're watching on YouTube, do the super chat. What's up, Bookworm? Super chat, make sure that you are naming a small business. If you want to get on the screen, you want to promote your business, you want to talk about an amazing experience that you had with a company, and you want to get them some love, give the super chat. 10 folks, $20. If you just agree with what I'm saying, just throw it up there. All right. And that's one of the best ways to get promotion to the however many, 800, 1,000 people that will show up tonight. Anyway, hit like button and all of that. Let's get to it. This is one of the sisters having this discussion, and they're going to go in through the third claim that what's her name makes, which is what is the claim? Black conservatism fails to address the needs of the working class. Let's just jump straight to that real quick, and let's go, Solutionary.
That is why we are criminalizing the poor. We are criminalizing the poor on a regular basis. How so? Because we're not even allowing for a wage to happen to allow people to get out of poverty. We are seeing inflation grow.
We both have people in our family that have done it, so we can't.
No, we have not had people that are done it. My mother came to America with an entire nursing degree. I can't say, oh, well, my mother did it. Why can't you? Because my mother
was pregnant at 19 from the south side of Chicago with no degree and still made
good for your mom. But this is the thing.
So we can't do it.
It's not. The question isn't whether or not some people can do it. The question and the reality is that it is not available to everyone in an equal way.
And that's unfortunate, man, but we live in a broken system.
I want to be mindful to everybody. I'm going to critique both sides. If you didn't watch the show last night, I am of the belief that both sides of this argument, again, y'all are watching the show for how you are going to move outside. This ain't to just pick one side and agree with that side. If you're tapping into the show, the Maj Toure Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m., my job is to give you solutions that you can sharpen yourself when you're dealing with these arguments, okay? My position is both sides of these arguments are right for the wrong reasons, okay? The argument, so here's where I'm going to disagree with Amanda Seals. I agree, but sorry, homegirl. She says, these things are not available equally to everybody in the same way. She's right and wrong there. The area where she's right is nothing in the universe is available to everybody equally. If you work hard and buy beachfront property, you have beachfront property. That's it. It's not available to motherfuckers that can't afford beach coastline property. That's it. Now, do I think the prices of the homes in Star Island are way expensive? Absolutely. I remember the last time I was there, they wanted $20 million for an empty lot. I think Rick Ross bought it and he's building a house over there on Star Island. They wanted $20 million for the Star Island lot. That does not include building the house. It's not available equally to everybody, and there's no wrong. Equality is a myth. What Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were doing on the basketball court is not what all of the other seasoned athletes that are in the NBA were doing on the court. What Amanda is kind of talking about is the equality of opportunity. Protocol says, I disagree. All right, cool, disagree. We're going to, listen, y'all, we're going to put the call-in number up. Sidebar real quick before we move forward. I talked about some things today on X, and I want all of you tough guys that's watching on X that was saying my argument about Sydney Sweeney, I'm going to give y'all time to even, Sydney Sweeney's mid. This is the absolute sidebar, okay? If you're watching on X and you're scrolling down and you hear when I said Sydney Sweeney is mid, you tough guys gave me all of the energy on X hiding behind your private page. In a little bit, I'm going to give y'all some lane for that and for the conversation for the show tonight. I want y'all to pop in and tell me all of the tough guy talk that y'all was saying, but put a voice and put a face on it. Y'all like hiding behind them pages. So not you, Protocol, in that sense. All right? Oh, he said he was, okay. Protocol said he was quoting me. All right? Now, I'm going to give you, we're going to open the lines up in a little bit. But where Amanda is correct is things are not made equally available to everyone. Okay. She's right for the wrong reasons. And again, a ton of people in this conversation are going to be saying the right things for the wrong reasons. Things are not supposed to be equally made available to you. That is how governments instill socialism that leads into communism that lands in fascism. That is how you get a UBI, universal basic income. That is how entire nations and republics fall, where they say, hey, we just going to print up all of the money and you guys going to take a universal basic income and you pretty much just do whatever the fuck I say. Equal. Equality is a myth. Listen, some of these people that debate are not my equals. Okay? They're not my equals. They may be able to study as much as I do, but they may not be able to articulate the things the same way that we don't have equal life experiences, right? Some of the people that y'all follow, right? So-called conservatives and all of that, we're not equal because they aren't as handsome as me. Okay? Not shaven. I got a scarf on because I got my hair done, right? All of those different things. It's just not equal. It's just what it is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that your favorite conservative or libertarian or the more popular one, because they the controlled ops, I'm sorry. They will not be as ripped and shredded as me. They're not solutionaries. But let's continue.
Society. I went to Nigeria and they're having the same problems, and it's a bunch of black people that are running Nigeria.
It's a broken society.
But it's the same thing in Nigeria.
But Nigeria is a broken society, whereas Burkina Faso is not. Burkina Faso is not.
That's time.
My final claim is black conservatism fails to meet the needs of the working class.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. The shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel brought...
Before we go into that, guys, everybody hit the like button. Like. Clearly, I got the freebie YouTube, so I ain't spending the money on YouTube, right? But anyway, guys, support the work. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. You come up to the show. We talk about these things to sharpen your talking points so you can protect against the bullshit on the left and protect against the bullshit on the right. That's the importance of the Maj 2 ratio, okay? We're able to keep the show going and keep the work going. This ties into work. Firearms basics, conflict resolution, de-escalation, all of those things are because of your support. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. Don't want to donate to pay it forward for somebody else? That's fine. Grab a t-shirt. Like the being a bitch is all American. Being a bitch is un-American. All gun control is racist. Freedom over everything. If you want the merch, go over to blackgunsmatter.shop. And lastly, and I'll say this a few times just in case you guys didn't hear the websites that I'm saying. If you want to get in better shape, if you want to learn about civics, if you want to sharpen talking points, if you want a private community of people that are helping you improve meal plans, workout routines, shooting drills, civics classes and curriculums, solutionaryuniversity.org. Sign up for and enroll at Solutionary University. All right. Now that that's out the way, let's continue. Let's listen. The conversation now is black conservatism fails. Let me see. View the chapter. We'll hear it.
Ant Dog. Okay.
ABL.
Talk to me.
So I think black conservatives, we're the ones who really want the best for working people.
Oh.
I think we're the ones, like a lot of the liberals, a lot of the leftists, they want us to do things like office work. They want us to go reparations, try to get things from the government and get handouts. We say, hey, go out there and work. Go out there and get these jobs that are available. Work with your hands, do skilled trades. That's where a lot of us talk about, skilled trades. So working class, that's really a black conservative thing, in my humble opinion.
I agree with ABL here. Everybody wants to ignore Booker T. Washington like he wasn't right as fuck. Okay? We went to this intelligentsia, right? And don't get me wrong. I see value in some of the conversation at W.E.B. Du Bois. Sidebar, y'all about to get a history lesson. W.E.B. Du Bois was 1000% a genius. However, W.E.B. Du Bois was deliberately financed, funded, set up, and designed to go against Marcus Garvey's position, to do for self, working with hands, okay? Towards the end of his life, W.E.B. Du Bois, now again, we're talking about black people. This is not an attack, but I want to be clear because some of y'all get goofy. W.E.B. Du Bois was financed, funded, and put up against Marcus Garvey's Do for Self movement. Okay? W.E.B. Du Bois, same thing with the Booker T. Washingtons of the world. Booker T. Washington was talking about you need to know how to build, cultivate on your own land, build a house, electric, all of those different things. Very, very important. Okay? Very important. With that being the case, these are conservative limited government values. And ABL is 100% correct here. The problem is the conservatives are not talking about that and doing it. They are existing in a bubble that is, I'm just going to own the left and not living the actual values, if that makes sense. I'll go into that a little bit more. Kim and them says, ABL is a grifter. Like, how can't y'all see these people are clearly grifting like Candace Tatum and Anthony? Kim and them, did you watch the show last night? This is part 2. This is part 2. Y'all in the comment section, let her know my position on some of the people that she is just mentioning. Y'all let her know. Yes, I've done Candace Owens' show. I agree with Candace on certain things. I disagree with her on others. But here's the thing. I just asked everybody watching on X and YouTube to share the show. I have conservative values as a libertarian politically, because conservatives aren't being what they're supposed to be. They actually are more, conservatives are a little bit less under libertarians. My point is as far as limiting government. But my point is, I asked everybody to share the show. But y'all will share and argue against Tatum, Owens, y'all will highlight and quote post the people that you disagree with, but you won't repost the person that you like, nah, I fuck with Maj. Maj be doing work in the community. Maj has limited government, conservative, libertarian values. Maj don't be coming off like a sellout. Maj don't be hating on nobody. Maj call it like it is, but y'all won't repost Maj. But you'll repost and promote all of the other fucking people. Tell me where I'm wrong. How many people in here have reposted the show? Just give me a comment section. Once you repost it, if you're watching on, okay, Kim and M, you don't got it on X, you got Facebook. Kim and M says she don't have an X account. Cool. Cool. Copy and paste this to your Facebook page. Takes 2 seconds. Copy the link, paste it on Facebook. Paste it in your stories. Fundamentals AU says, Maj, I'm rocking with you. I got that Harold's chicken at one time. Where was this in Chicago? Let me know, Fundamentals. My point in saying this, y'all, is we like to argue against people that we disagree with, because if you happen to be black in this conversation around black conservatives and them selling out, but have you reposted Sonny Johnson? Have you reposted Maj Touré? Have you reposted Rhonda Mary? Have you reposted the portions of some Hotep Dubes? Hotep histories? You feel me? That's promoting what we love instead of bashing what we hate. But so again, ABL. Oh, Travis says that Sydney Sweeney argument is an old argument. Q-Tips Gaming, what's up? It's a lot of, listen, I hear a lot of chats, but I can't give y'all too much of the chats because we ain't got no super chats coming in yet. Support the work. $20 super chat. We need 10 people to do that. All right. Now, I agree with ABL on actual conservatives promoting trades skills that strengthen our community, because nobody can take that ability to grow food, to be a carpenter, to be a construction worker, to be a plumber, to be an electrician. Okay? I just don't see people promoting that as much as they arguing against things. But let's see what Amanda says to this. Now, again, the conversation for this section, for today's show, is this Amanda Seales debate. This is what you're watching for the people that's just tapping in. The Amanda Seales debate between herself and 20 other black conservatives. And the section of this is black conservatism fails to address the needs of the working class. And I get it. Y'all don't like that term, working class, because it sounds like communism. Say working man and working woman. Okay?
Beg to disagree. I think that that would be true if Black conservatism also created pathways for people to get those jobs and also to be able to challenge the corporations that are using their labor, that are stealing from them and not impeding them from having a union. So for instance, like in the South, right? I just left North Carolina where I met with...
Wait a minute. She said a union. I get the pros and cons to unions. Matter of fact, y'all tell me your perspective on unions in the comment section. Let's let Amanda cook a little bit more.
The USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. This is an unofficial union of individuals who work at places like Waffle House, at Food Lion, etc. And their unofficial union is unofficial because the conservatives in that state will not allow for them to be officialized.
Legitimized.
Legitimized.
There you go. I got you.
It will not allow for them to be legitimized because then they would be able to push back legitimately on the corporations to get fair wages, right? So like someone was telling me in this organization that she was in Baltimore getting $15.25 as a minimum wage. And then when she moved just one state away, she was now only getting $7.25 for minimum wage, but the cost of living was the same for her. So when we talk about, you know, the effort of saying go out and get these jobs and get these trades, et cetera, I think that that is valid, but I think that the impediments by leveling up corporations and by pouring into the effort of corporations to keep billionaires, as Black conservatives, you are actually cutting off the ability for those people to excel.
I agree with her to a certain extent. Unions, and to Burt Macklin with the support, with the first super chat of the night at $10. We need still 10 more people at $20 because I try to get everybody to do 20 so we can get 100. Anyway, unions were 1,000%. This is the problem. When we look at these institutions, we don't look at, because we have this you're not allowed to call something racist thing. There's both sides of this argument, and that's going to be a consistent theme. Everything is not racist. But some fucking things are. So there's a group of people that calls everything racist, and there's a group of people that says nothing is racist. Both of those people are wrong. Most people go into their silos and go, unions aren't racist because you never looked at the origins of why unions were created. Now, unions' good portion is their job is to secure and defend labor. We don't want the Baltimore shipyard to only be automatized with just computers, because our job as a union, if you're going to be in our town, is to defend the labor, right? But union workers, similar to minimum wage, and she's talking about minimum wage, these things were created specifically to stop Black people from having employment. That happened. If you don't believe me, Google it. Just Google or Grok or whatever Chat GPT Skynet thing that you use in fucking Terminator Matrix shit. Just Google it. Type in racist origins of unions. That's all. That's all. And just look for yourself. I'm not getting you to agree with me. I'm saying that there's context being left out. So she's right as it relates to unions and them trying to bogart in the origin of it. However, where she's not right, those companies that are not currently practicing racism as it relates to stopping people from getting jobs, because that may not be the case. The origin is one thing, and if we can't show that these practices are deliberately the same, then we got to acknowledge that they're not deliberately the same, even though the outcomes might be the same. Now, those corporations get to say, we are not hiring anyone that tries to unionize. Now, if the general public in that community does not spend dollars with that business because they choose not to unionize, then that business goes out of business. What we're talking about here is the free market process. I don't like this restaurant. Let's use pro-gun spaces. I don't go into Buffalo Wild Wings because Buffalo Wild Wings is anti-gun. I don't make a post on social media about I'm carrying my gun in Buffalo Wild Wings, giving them money, supporting them for a practice that I disagree with. Sometimes we let our ego jump out there. So what I do is I find a small business that may not be a chain that in Texas or wherever I'm at, and I go, I'll give my money to that. I actually found a company in Philadelphia that does delivery, Soul Food Savories, right? Soul Food Savories. They do a delivery service in Philadelphia. I just want to support that small business. That's all. So those corporations get to say, we're not hiring union work, right? We're not. The Osmond just said it. Just looked up the racist origins of unions. Now, somebody else go look up the racist origins of licenses to marry, the racist origins of minimum wages. So there's a pro and con to both sides of these things. All right. Now, she's right in the sense of corporations are doing things to stop certain people from doing certain things. 100%. But I think in that instance, it's more about we want to have control over our company as opposed to bending to what companies say in unions. There are some movies that just aren't made in certain cities. Why? Because in Philadelphia, the key grip, the people that make the sets and all of that, Philadelphia says you have to hire labor workers to do the handwork for this movie if you want to shoot it in Philadelphia. So if the story is not intricate or integral to Philadelphia, most companies will go, we shooting a movie in Shreveport, Louisiana, where 50 Cent just is building a film studio because you don't have to hire labor unions. Sometimes labor unions have the opposite effect because those city governments go, we not hire, or those corporations or those governments go, no, we not doing that. And some places go, you can bring your business here because if you got an extra 1,000 people in my small town filming a movie, that's going to be good for the economy. Restaurants, lodging, da-da-da-da-da. So sometimes these corporate entities don't hire unions because unions start to leverage. And that's just the basics of free market expression and exchange. So again, there's some truth and correctness to what she's saying here. But I don't think currently it's primarily race-based. Now, again, the conversation was, does black conservatism or conservatism, limited government, fail to address the needs of the working class? And here ABL is right. Trades, skills, jobs. But where they're wrong is, these are the same type of conservatives that will advocate for more government. When you get government involved, government merges unholy alliances with labor unions and says, if you come into this city, you have to hire a labor union, and then it becomes legitimized, to use their word, based on contracts between the city, charters between the city, contracts between the city and the unions. It's a great movie that y'all should watch, talking about some of the types of origins of unions in America. Not all, but it's called Gangs of New York with Leonardo DiCaprio. You should watch that movie. Okay? So if these conservatives are right on trade, skills, this, that, and the third, and then advocating for more government that makes that unholy alliance between unions and city, those unions block certain people out. You can't get the job here because you're not one of our people. If you're not one of our people that are not paying dues to our union protection, like the government, then you can't get the job. So if you're conservative and not highlighting limited government, saying, yeah, but get a trade, and you're highlighting overreaching government that makes that unholy alliance, that is still going to stop black people from getting the job. They are saying the right thing for the wrong reason, and they're leaving nuance out. I promise y'all, when you come to the Maj Toure show, I'm going to give you the nuance that both sides are ignoring or just don't even know. But let's play a little bit further.
Okay, I understand your point, but a lot of us are more about being self-sufficient. So the South, a friend of mine down there, King Randall, has a school for boys. He's 22 years old. He has a bunch of kids living with him. He's teaching them physical skills they can do. Okay, yeah. Being a mechanic, working on your car, working on your house, doing things with your hands. So you don't got to worry about corporations. You could be your own man. You could be your own woman. Yeah. And also, didn't you also say earlier that you're against unions? But are you for them now?
No, I never said that.
Also, you're for unions?
Absolutely.
So when the unions keep black folks out, you're for that as well? Because that's traditionally what they've done, keep black folks out, correct?
Obviously, I am not for that. The reality is that
he's right. Again, I want y'all to be very clear. I didn't watch this show ahead of time. I'm giving y'all my genuine reactions based on what I'm seeing up until the point that I'm seeing. ABL is right here. Like Osmond said in the chat earlier on YouTube, youtube.com/Maj Toure. Subscribe to the channel, hit the likes up, everybody. Like Osmond said, as I'm talking about this, he Googled the racist origins of unions. Them unions 1,000% was like, we do not want you blacks in here. 1,000%. It's what's true. This is what a Rockahor says. I was in a grip and electrician film union. It's even worse. The workers have to pay to be a part of the union, even while they get fucked out of work by the union boss. I'm trying to tell y'all. And she's just said she's for unions. I understand the allure of unions, which is we're going to collectively work together to demand a fair working wage. I get that. The allure and the appeal of it. Unfortunately, like a lot of things, it doesn't manifest the same way in real time. And when you ignore the structures, the fees, the this, that, and the third, right? When you do that, you go, is this still productive? Like this comment right here by Rockahorse just said. The workers have to pay to be a part of a union. The reason why there's an unholy alliance between government and unions is because they're both protection rackets. You understand? That's why the mob was involved in a union for so long. That's why contracting and construction, there's a lot of, not to sound racist, back in the day there were a lot of Italians associated with the mafia in the union. Jimmy Hoffa energy, right? The government and the union are both doing the same things. We're going to protect you and go to bat for you if you pay us. So if you don't know that component and you're advocating for unions that historically have treated black people like shit, it's a contradiction. She's saying the right thing for the wrong reasons. Let's continue.
That unions have definitely in the beginning kept black folks out. And the reason why they were keeping black folks out is because after the Civil War, when there was Reconstruction, you had all these black people that had been used with free labor and they had skills, right? Whether they were a blacksmith or a carpenter or whatever. However, they could not get jobs because the white people who now had to fend for themselves, if you will, because they didn't have slaves, they had to go and learn all these trades. Right. And so they actively kept black people out of those jobs. And then what they would do.
So if you know that, I don't support gun control because I know the racist roots and current outcomes of gun control.
Is that when they would, as a union, say, we're going on strike, the black people would be like, well, we'll work because they won't let us in their union anyway. And then when they would go and actually get those jobs that the people were on strike for, they would hang them.
Hitting your goals has nothing to do with discipline.
The real culprit is friction, and it slowly erodes your progress.
Unlike what most people believe.
They would lynch them.
So how could you then be in support of unions? And even now, I get it, to the same extent, unions are not lynching black people. I want to be clear about that because some of y'all going to get fucking goofy and act like I'm saying that, and I'm not, okay? But knowing that, and these outcomes are still the same. It's still being done. We just can't hang you. Still happens. We just block you out of certain things unless you pay us.
So yes, these are real things that have taken place. But we keep having these conversations where we acknowledge the past when it's convenient, and then we only stay in the present when it's convenient. So
she's right, and she's about to line them up. We say we understand the history of unions, and maybe I'm wrong. Again, I haven't watched this. We want to acknowledge the past of the racist history of unions here, but you don't want to acknowledge what we're here talking about is the reason why reparations are due is because of what happened in the past. I'm just spitballing as that's the direction that she's about to go.
You can't simultaneously say, well, everybody's fine now and there's no systemic racism at the same time as stating that there are unions that are racist and unions that aren't racist. Ultimately, there is racism in the United States. It is deeply embedded. We have seen it in a myriad of examples, even just yesterday or today. And black conservatives are working against the working class because they are actively placing their vision, their ideology of black excellence in economics solely.
Well, there is racism
and in individual economics. Okay. And I think that's really the big difference of what we're talking about right now. You're talking about every man for themselves. Every man for themselves.
No. I don't say that.
Oh, you didn't say that?
I say that we have to be individual as people, as black people, but still get all of us on the same page. My friends at school, he's not just looking out for himself, looking for all these kids as well. So it's like, okay, I bring myself up and then bring everybody else up, rather than relying upon the corporations and white people to lift this up. That's where we come from as black conservatives. So I think there's a
difference between relying on and acknowledging that there are impediments of. And I want to acknowledge the reality that we keep seeming to bump up against, which is that everybody has equal ability, and they don't. Everybody doesn't have the same impediments. So, for instance, I grew up with a single parent, not because...
Me too.
I grew up with a single parent, not because my father was some deadbeat that didn't have... My father has a MD from Harvard. My father has an MBA from Tufts.
My dad was a firefighter, so working class, conservative.
He just didn't want to be a parent. So when we talk about this whole idea of like, oh, the blacks that are, not doing the thing, it's not about necessarily what class you're in. It's literally just about, we live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't want to be a parent. We live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't need to be in cooperation with our community. And as far as I'm concerned, black conservatives do not address the needs of the working class, which are fair access to resources, which are equal access to getting jobs, which are equal pay to the same access as others. And we don't.
Equal to who?
Equal to other states even. Like, there's no reality where you can say that the same amount of white people are working low wage jobs per capita as black people. A lot of the reason is because there's such a disparate incarceration.
Nah, I gotta pause it right there, y'all. I'm with her on some of those points, but hell no. You're asking for equality in that situation is a myth. You would have to have people. If I'm great at articulating, and somebody goes, "Well, Maj," let me tell y'all a quick story. When I was in elementary school, I got straight A's in everything. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. I had a gym teacher that gave me a B. I was always present. I never was absent in school, in elementary school. Like, I was there. I loved school. The gym teacher gave me a B, bullshit you not, and said, the reason why my mom and my aunt showed up to the school, why? He's perfect. He loves gym. I really enjoyed gym in school. Why did you give him a B? He's trying to get all A's and honor roll. She said he has to understand that just because he excels, everybody else doesn't excel, and you can't always get every single thing that you want. That's what my gym teacher told, and it got overturned, 1,000%. So because I was exceptional, I went to school every day. I loved going to school in elementary school. I loved gym class. You know how they pull the rope down and you can fucking climb up the rope and shit? I loved that. Loved it. That teacher tried to tell me some socialist bullshit like that because they not as passionate, because they not in school every day, because he has to understand this. Get the fuck out of here. So that's equality. Oh, it was a woman. Big Rob says that's why he's a gym teacher. It was a woman. She was a liberal woman. She happened to be white. Okay? Why am I saying that right here? That's what equality is. Maj has parents that's going to get him to school on time, this, that, and the third. He's excited about learning, but I got to bring him down to the level that other people are at. That's what equality is. You're inevitably, absolutely, you're going to give somebody that needs some help in a legitimate way. You're going to get them a leg up because of the fact that, hey, you need a little bit more help. But inadvertently, if you make this the standard and you don't support genius and excellence, and you only cater to this to bring them up to this level, you're going to neglect the people that are performing in a more excellent manner. So everyone's here. What she's talking about, or should be saying, is equality of opportunity. And to a certain extent, conservatives argue the position that you do have fucking equality of opportunity. And they're 75, 80% right. You do have equality of opportunity, especially if you really dial in. Don't tell me about you poor in the hood, you got electric, you got a fucking, look at this. How many iPhones is this? 3, right? This is a MacBook. Don't talk to me about you couldn't da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da if you got however many iPhones. Okay? The opportunity is there. You have to step up. Now, to her point, but if you're talking about a system, a school system, an individual in that system, if I didn't have two loving family members to go and check that, that might have derailed me to a certain extent as a child. Okay? Her point of there are certain things that's like, right? So conservatives are pushing the argument that, yo, you can step up, which is what Marcus Garvey was saying. And I'm pretty sure Amanda's not disagreeing with the honorable Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had a book called, one of his quotes was, "Up, you mighty race." Like, yo, don't look to white folks for the handout. And I'm talking about during the time where the policies were fucking horrible towards black people, right? So I'm not disagreeing in the sense of conservatives are not advocating for certain things. But again, you got to look at the fact that, yo, this system, like when she just brought up the unions, they both argued in this exchange right here, they're both kind of complimenting each other, right? The Osmond says there's no such thing as quality of outcomes. I agree. There is no equality of outcome. The equality of opportunity is something that should be looked at. Do you have the opportunity? Some people, if they take the firearms basics class, right, they're going to gravitate to executive protection. Some people are going to gravitate towards, I just enjoy shooting because it's relaxing and I enjoy long distance shooting. Some people are going to go into, I just want to do this for personal protection and making sure my home is secure. The outcome is not going to be equal. The playing field being leveled by our work with BGM is to say, we want to make sure that at least everybody has the opportunity to learn firearms basics for free. We're going to ask other people, hey, if y'all see value in this, strengthening individuals in these areas to get stronger, to get more involved in the Second Amendment fight, to give them safe and responsible firearms ownership, you may have more means. So can you voluntarily donate to help other people? That in turn makes more Second Amendment strong people. That means they start to change voting patterns. It's nuanced because purchasing a firearm and ammo is already expensive. If you guys can help us, help the individual, which in turn helps the collective, then our whole entire Second Amendment community expands. That is a conservative belief. But both sides of this particular argument are leaving out what the other, maybe not in this exchange between ABL and Amanda, but they're leaving out generally the conversation of where is what this side is making sense and what this side is making sense. Okay? But you cannot think that it's going to be everybody should have the same everything. You're inevitably going to help some people and you're going to stunt some other people. Let's continue.
Of black people, that it impedes their ability to get higher level education as well as higher level employment because we know about disenfranchisement.
All right, there you go.
These meals changed everything for me. I'll admit it, I was skeptical about ready-to-eat meals, but then I tried Factor.
I want to be very clear. I am not paid for by these commercial people. I just haven't figured out how to. I'll find time tonight after the show. Guys, everybody hit the like button. We had another super chat. Let me give some energy for the super chats. Dre with the super chat says, WWW, it's a vibe outside, which is an outdoor game rentals in San Diego, California. San Diego is two things. One, the site of one of my favorite comedies of all time. I'm pretty sure you guys have watched Anchorman. That's one thing that San Diego is. And two, San Diego is beautiful. San Diego looks like a damn screensaver. Okay? So if you're in the San Diego area, Dre suggests that you check out WWW, It's a Vibe Outside, outdoor game rentals in San Diego, California. Listen, if you guys have a small business, if you guys have if you know of a small business, we want to give you a shout out. We want everybody to check out these things. Go follow these places. Go support them. You never know when you might be in San Diego. You got somewhere you can link up with. But this also helps our work. Our work of limited government, politically conservative values, our work of freedom and liberty, Second Amendment values. When you guys do these super chats, we try to get 10 a night. When you guys do these super chats, that goes towards our work, paying it forward for others. So if we somewhat agree with some of the things that Amanda Seales is saying here, and I think she's making some valid points, we agree with that, then we should be sure that we're supporting. Huge shouts again to ABL for bringing up our brother, new emerging King Randall. He's been a supporter of BGM. We've been supportive of the X for Boys. And that's another brother that I think is doing that type of limited government conservative work. Okay? If we recognize that and we give those people the platforms, we can help them in their journey. This is why I say, hey, if you're watching on X, repost. If you're watching on YouTube, repost. If you're watching on Facebook, repost. Okay? That costs you literally $0. Costs you $0 to do that shit. At all. Highlight it. Repost it. Support the work. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. If you're watching on X, the pinned post is right above my head. Support the work. Every donor at the $100 level, paying it forward for other people to learn safe and responsible gun ownership, put them on the path to strengthen the Second Amendment in urban Americas. Every donor at $100 levels or more, you get access to a membership to Solutionary University. Meal plans, workout routines, shooting drills, a private community of people helping each other. I help you with your workout routine, okay? It's actually me helping you. I'm going to shoot you an email or a DM. Yo, what's your macros? You don't know? Cool. I'll come up with your macros for you. Here's your meal plan. We got to be holistic. I'm asking everybody to support the work. It's right there. If you're watching on YouTube, there's the chat. If you're watching this on the screen, there's the chat. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. Having these discussions are great. We need everybody to support the work. Let me get a show of hands in the comments section if you're willing to donate towards our work today. Just put a 100, put a thumbs up, put something in the chat on YouTube. Okay? Let's go. Let's move on.
Hi, Layla.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
I'm
meet
Layla.
you.
I would actually argue that the Black working class is failing themselves. Wouldn't you agree that, in order to get a job?
Stop. Phantom attribute. That's a trick. Her conflict says they're going to put pitch into Give, Send, Go. I'm going to leave it on the screen, y'all. You can do this at the same time while you got this playing in the background. Let's get 10 folks to go to GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary and support the work. Now, she did a phantom attribute. Terry Renee says she'll support. What's up, Terry? GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. This sister right here just said, wouldn't you agree? When you're doing a debate with somebody, that's a Bush League move. And somebody that's seasoned in debate, when they hear you do that, they know that you're about to come up with some milquetoast fucking talking points. No, I would not agree. If when anti-gun hostile media tries to get me with that, I stop them. I go, no, I would not agree with that because it's stupid. They're trying to convince you to agree with them as opposed to making solid points. Never do that. When you're having this debate about anything, limited government, pro-gun, they're not here to fucking agree with you. Only a person that is not skilled would say, I would agree with that. Unless they're very powerful, they're going to line you up and go, well, I kind of agree with you. However, and then they're going to destroy your talking points. Don't lead in with that.
In order to qualify for a certain position and an education system at a job, wouldn't you argue that it should be based off of qualifications and not your race or identity?
I've never argued that. I've never argued that. That's not
I know.
I'm telling y'all, I did not watch this. These are genuine reactions. I am off top when you say, wouldn't you agree to, and wouldn't you argue? Fuck no. I'm gonna take that argument right from you from the gate. These 20 black conservatives, I don't know how Jubilee picked them. They're not sharp in so-called debate. Amanda is, especially about this topic. I want everybody to understand that Amanda has degrees on this shit. I think the degrees don't help in the sense of like, she can't build a house with this shit, meaning like do the electric, right? Or plumbing. But as far as absolutely destroying a narrative and potentially making millions of dollars to buy a house off of it, she's 1000% equipped. And like I just said, you gonna say, wouldn't you agree? And I'm gonna go and rearrange your whole fucking argument. No, I'm not gonna agree with that. Yesterday on part 1 of this, I talked about something called a phantom attribute. Well, some people would say I never heard that before. Who said it? I never heard that. That sounds stupid to me. I'm gonna take everything from you and give you fucking nothing.
I know that you were saying that you would argue that it should be equal, right? So you're saying that there should be Black Americans in education systems, in jobs, but wouldn't you argue that they should be qualified for those positions and not just placed there because of their skin color?
I've never disapproved that.
Okay, so let's say
that's not what DEI is.
Okay.
Do you know that?
Well, I'm not talking about DEI right now. Well,
because you're suggesting that I suggested that somebody should get a job just because they're Black, and I've never asserted anything like that.
I mean, I understand that you may not say that exactly, but a lot of the claims are, you know.
I don't know where the fuck they got these conservatives from, and they look like fucking teenagers, other than ABL. ABL looked like he just came from a fucking factory job, got in the shower, put some golf clothes on. However, this is why Jubilee picked them. This is why Jubilee picked them. The same reason why, again, like I said last night, the same reason why Charlie Kirk and what's the other fucking clown in Miami? Those people go to college campuses to talk to stupid people. If you're really good at this, they're not going to try to highlight you to dish you. I did Jubilee. I chopped their entire anti-gun argument the whole time. They put maybe 2 minutes of me out of 4 hours of filming on this same platform against anti-gunners. Okay? Listen to what Superweapons just said. She knows their attack vectors better than they know hers. Because they don't do the fucking work. They're arguing points and positions based off of talking points. And these talking points have not been vetted and pressure tested. What happens, I'm going to be very clear with y'all before we move on. When you get really good at these talking points, y'all notice there's a reason why I'm not on as many platforms as I used to be. Do you know why? One, I started building something impactful. Solutionaryuniversity.org. That's number one. Number two, I cannot be beaten. The purpose of you guys watching this show tonight, you need to start practicing against final bosses of crazy shit like Amanda Seales. Because when you go out into the world with people that are not very well equipped and you talk, your talking points of these things, they're robust, they're sharp. So because of that, you get really good. You get really good and you can wreak havoc everywhere. However, please understand that you're not going to get invited to certain platforms. You just become a walking embodiment of the thing and you frighten people that have an agenda. I did Jubilee in Cali. I went there. It was 2020, if I'm not mistaken, like 5 years ago. Okay? I absolutely destroyed. Go watch Maj Toure Vice debate. I absolutely destroyed this chick. After a while, they go, nope, do not have that person on shitting all over our agenda. Jubilee looked like this girl looked like a child. They don't know how to fight against this final boss. You come to the Maj Toure show to get sharpened. If you came here just to agree with me or for me to agree with you, no, I can't serve you that way. My job is to make you a fucking superhero. That's what solutionaries are. Let's go.
No, they're pointing to that.
No, it's not pointing to that.
Okay.
And so that is that. I need to clear this up because it's a really important point.
Okay.
We live in a nation that has actively pedestaled white people. Can we all agree on that? That we
in the past,
we can't.
in the past, but not currently. But not currently.
So okay, fair. Okay. So how many black?
She just used the same tactic back against them. Did y'all just see that? Do you see what she just did? I want y'all to be very clear on what just happened. Okay? I want y'all to be very clear. This young lady approached her with, you would agree that, she said, I don't agree. And then she tried it again, and she was like, that's not what I said. Right? Then she broke the fourth wall and said, do y'all all agree that in the past, we live in a society that has pedestaled white people? And got the girl across from her to agree. Instead of them all being on code, because that's the black people terminology, right? The fake woke people, right? You say, no, I don't think it, but you can't say no because it actually happened. Gun control is a perfect example of this. We want us to have guns, but not the black people. You can't argue against that. It happened. The problem is the conservatives don't know their talking points properly and solidly enough. So Amanda, knowing that they would all be susceptible, used the same tactic that this girl just tried on her and then did it to her and got the whole 20 motherfuckers to agree with her. Y'all not paying attention and looking at how sharp. Y'all think because she has crazy takes about leftist things that you're not paying attention. She was a VJ on MTV. She runs a radio show. That's PR. These people are designed to fucking destroy your argument. And their media outlet is going to pick a bunch of teenagers to argue their points from an emotional space like the leftists do. It's wild. Tell me if y'all didn't see that. Let's continue.
Black people are part of this administration's cabinet.
I'm not sure. Can you tell me? Can you fill me in?
Zero. Who?
So it seems like there may be a couple.
That's not a cabinet.
I don't know.
Scott Turner.
Okay.
So
there are.
So we got two.
So there are.
So we got two.
Can we also?
We got two. So back to your point, DEI is about expanding.
Oh yes. Okay.
Not lowering credibility.
Okay.
So if we have a system that has very actively said these particular people are the best people simply because of their race, DEI said, or their gender.
Okay.
Because DEI mostly leveled up white women.
Okay. So it would be incorrect if it's, if we're pointing toward this, a majority of race is qualified because of the basis of their skin.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Whether they're white, black.
Okay,
I mean, race is fake anyway.
Now, I do want to touch on a point that you did mention earlier that you would argue.
Do you heard what she just said? Race is fake anyway. Amanda Seales is not stupid. She's just crazy. Superweapon says, I thought this was about reparations. It's about a bunch of things. Today's section of this conversation is about, this argument is black conservatism fails to address the needs of the working class. Fozimo is saying that's absolutely not true about white women. Phantom attribute. That's bullshit. It is. White women have benefited from DEI more than any other group. Stop it. Stop it. Somebody go grok it. Go grok. Because I don't even want to go back and forth. Go grok it. Somebody that disagrees or agrees with me, grok it, put it in the chat. All right? Grok it, put it in the chat. Terry says there's a war on class and not a war on race. Disagree. I think it's both. I think they're interchangeable. And the conversation here is about how black conservatives are failing to address the needs of that. But let's continue. Listen, again, guys, we all on the same team. I want to be very clear to the people that's tapping into the show tonight. I'm not arguing for leftists. I'm not. The purpose of the Maj 2 ratio is to be entertaining, to give you guys perspective, and to pressure test your arguments against people that are good in weird spaces about things that we disagree with. Jubilee lined these 20 motherfuckers up. Sonny Johnson ain't there. I would love, everybody runs away from fucking Sonny Johnson, from Rhonda Mary, y'all run away from them black conservative women. But y'all got all of these other people and they let ABL be on there twice. Listen, our job is to pressure test our arguments. We got to throw away what don't work. If you happen to be a black conservative, you need better talking points than these people. If you're a white conservative, you start and your talking points are sharpened, highlighting issue. You cannot say gun control is racist and then say there's no systemic racism. That's one of the things. You also get to say everything isn't racist, but there's a few things that have been, and black people are being misled by white liberals into pretending X, Y, and Z doesn't happen. These same white liberals try to promote the same racist practice of gun control, and that's wrong. There are black people that's on the fence about if they're going liberal or conservative. If they hear you as a white conservative, Asian conservative, Indian conservative say that, they understand that your argument is based in reality without giving them the victim card all day. You show up for the Maj Toure show to sharpen your talking points and get better. That's my job. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's play a little bit more before we start to wrap up.
That, Black people have less opportunities in America. I do not agree with that. I have not had,
First of all, you're a light-skinned woman.
And so are you.
Yes.
And you're doing great.
Colorism.
Hey, real quick, y'all. We're going to open up the call lines because we're going to wrap up shortly. Let's put the call lines in the chat. If y'all want to call in and agree and disagree on anything, let's get it popping.
Yes, and so colorism really does serve us.
I do want to say, why do you think that is, though? Why do you think that? Do you think it's just based off the color of our skin, or do you think it's based off of the reputation that
people come to us and their teeth are so bad that they all need to be extracted? They all need to be taken out. Put the
joint in the joint.
Black people make for themselves.
What reputation are Black people making for themselves?
What would you argue? Because when I look at
who makes the reputation for Black people?
Let's look at music, for example.
We already had this conversation with somebody else.
Well, we're gonna have it again. Most of the people that
are we?
Most of the people.
I'm gonna shut it down right now and let you know that the reality is that when you come to Black music, for you to say most of the people, you've already lost the argument.
Am I right?
There is no most of the people with Black people because you haven't heard of all of Black music.
Most of the music that is, let's say, maybe exalted or are shown by the media, right?
And who controls those systems?
Y'all making cultural arguments. Hit the line if you want to jump up there. All of y'all that was talking that Sydney Sweeney shit, y'all can jump into the call line now. But I bet your bitch ass won't, because you don't want to stand on it. But nonetheless, if you want to disagree with me, even on the Amanda Seales thing, anything that we talked about tonight, the call line is up there. This girl is about to make a fatal flaw. She's about to say that the music that Black people makes and gets promoted is we're packaging ourselves a certain way. The vast majority of popular music, first, it's wrong because there have been 2 artists that have went platinum over the last 10 years with very few features. Okay? Those 2 artists that have went platinum with those limited features are Kendrick Lamar and fucking J. Cole. And Drake. They don't make gangster rap. They're arguing that they're arguably the most popular in hip hop right now for the last however many years. They don't talk about gangster shit all of the time. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, motherfucking Drake. So this argument that popular music is that's wrong from the gate. Like Amanda said, if you talk about all Black music, you haven't listened to all Black music, so you're wrong and your argument is invalid from the gate. That's correct as well on Amanda's point. And lastly, who promotes the fucking music? If you're talking about systems, here we go. It's going to sound like Maj just attacking the Jews out of nowhere. That industry that Amanda Seales, was a part of, is owned and operated by white folks. And so this young lady is about to walk herself into an L. It just is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
And Black Americans.
Controls those
but who's putting it out there? We are Black. We're the ones putting it out there.
The distribution systems that are putting them out there are owned by white people.
Who listens to them? Because I can bet you.
She says, who listens to them? The vast majority of hip hop music since the 80s and 90s has been consumed by white America. That's why Eminem is the best-selling hip-hop artist of all time. Come on, y'all. You gotta have better talking points than this.
Most of my friends, my Black friends that are not conservative, they listen to that music that defiles their bodies.
You know
that
who
talks
else
about Black on Black crime and
everybody else. But if we don't
right?
acknowledge that they are not in the same way pursuing white voices talking about the same thing, even though they are, we simply like to start at the branches of a tree and not at the root. We have to understand that the media is king. Okay, media is king,
and media does not favor conservatism. I can tell you that right now. Look at the protests right now in Los Angeles.
Depending on who is in office, media does favor them.
We have Trump in office right now, and media is not favoring Trump at all.
They trying to argue back and forth about this. The girl already lost. Hey, Super Weapons, if you ready to jump in, I'm gonna add you to the stage now. Let me know when you in there. What's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, Maj? Can you hear me?
Speak up just a little bit.
I'm on my phone, so the audio is kind of like weird.
All right, I'm gonna just turn it up a bit on my end. Go ahead.
You still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do you agree or disagree? What you tapping in for tonight?
No, had to call in because it just hurts seeing like crazy liberals like Amanda or the radical.
Wait, real quick. Hey, give me something in the chat. Let me know if y'all can hear super weapons. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if y'all can hear them. Go ahead.
I would say it's just interesting the tribe of like Amanda Seals, like radical leftists, just get one over on like conservatives.
Hey, super weapons. You got to call in and call back. Get to a better signal because we can't really hear you. So I'm gonna drop you down and then get to a stronger signal, then come back.
Okay, work.
Y'all, I'm telling y'all this. This is what I'm telling y'all. Okay, Vinzinger's about to tap in. Let's see what Vinzinger talking about. What's up?
Sup, Mark? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And as much as I'm not on Amanda Seals' side nor on the black conservative side, do I have any agreements or disagreements? Well, I'm going to approach it more nuancedly, if it's all right.
Go ahead.
I can agree with Amanda on giving the blacks opportunities and all that, but not her solutions, proposals, and ideas of achieving that.
So,
but I can acknowledge what she said about what happened back in the day were correct, although I don't agree with her grudge holding approach to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can acknowledge it. As for the black conservatives, well, I can agree with ABL that black conservatives and conservatives in general, like the Conning types, should be promoting the working class and working class traits. I don't see them do that. Well, at the same time, they don't promote nor champion the alternatives.
Mm.
But I can't deny that ABL's arguments weren't strong either, but I can agree with the black conservatives on hiring on the basis of merit because I thought it could help people of different ethnicities and races improve while at the same time help them get jobs. As for the other black conservatives, well, to be honest, they were the easy challenge for Amanda to beat. Were they weak sauce? Absolutely, but the biggest weak sauce was the guy who said certain shit about black culture. But I do have disagreements with the black conservative takes on black music because I'm not surprised with their takes on and treatments on entertainment.
I can understand that. Hey, Vinzing, I appreciate you for tapping in, man. I'm gonna switch back. Super Weapons just jumped on the line. I'm gonna bring him up to the stage. Go ahead, Super Weapons.
Yo, what's up, Maj? I'm throwing some headphones. Is this better? Okay. Yeah, it was my speaker on my phone. Yeah, first, I wanted to say it just hurts seeing Amanda's like radical leftist mentality just get one over on conservatives who I generally agree with as a libertarian, you know, certain those like overlapping values. So I had to this just hurts. Like, this is a big L. But I came in late on this part of the conversation. But I mostly want to say, like, if you argue, like, I think I said this yesterday on the chat, but one of the best ways to argue from like a right of center perspective, I think the movie people need to watch, Thank You for Smoking, because all these conservatives are arguing pretty much to like argue the point to feel right versus arguing to like convince the people that will be looking at this later.
Right.
And that's where I think Amanda, like, she probably understands that at a more DNA level and why she just keeps just thrashing them left and right. Cause it's just like, they got all their talking points from like Ben Shapiro. Like, you can just tell it's just like, dude, this stuff just doesn't sound right. And you're not going to win over any other, you know, probably middle of the fence, you know, people from like the black community or whatever, you know, away from the AKA Democrat plantation or whatever, with this kind of like just Brandon Tatum level mentality.
It's not a powerful enough argument. It's not a powerful enough argument. It's not nuanced enough. And the reason why it's not nuanced is because they don't study. They don't read. There's a way for me to say, there are systemic issues in America. However, everything is not racist. There is a way to say the founding fathers put together an amazing document while struggling with their contradictions as it relates to owning humans. And that is a contradiction. You can't, and I get it, because some people will say, well, they were fighting to end slavery. There were people that said we cannot do slavery at that time. If you don't study the material, you can't form a thorough perspective on it. And because they are not looking to argue, that's one of my favorite movies, by the way. Yep. I'm low-key the pro-guns Nick Naylor. That's the main character in the movie for the people that didn't watch it. You can't study the material if you're going to just say, I am going to look for confirmation bias. The problem is someone that's as well-read on this topic as Amanda Seales is, and it has media and PR training, is going to absolutely obliterate these 20 people. Now, she exposed her hand too when she says media is king. Okay? Media is king. Since media is king, she probably linked up with the Jubilee people to pick these 20 people, because I want to absolutely destroy a narrative. So give me a bunch, 20, and again, I don't say this as a diss to ABL, and I haven't watched all of this. I didn't even watch the in-between. I skimmed through certain parts because I wanted the reaction to be organic. Jubilee probably said, hey, here's the people. We got Amanda Seales for it. She runs through it, and then other conservatives that have done different levels of study, just because you black and conservative doesn't mean you aren't allowed to talk about issues that impact the black community. Just because you're Asian and conservative in America does not mean that you aren't able to talk about so-called Asian hate or whatever. You get to talk about these things. You get to acknowledge the pros and cons of each argument. The people that were handpicked, in my opinion, for this, as someone that has been picked for these types of shows, they go a screening process. Absolutely yes, absolutely no. The beauty for us in watching this tonight is we get to go, how did our team get our ass whipped? How our team got our ass whipped in this conversation was they don't fucking study, because they're more interested in being a Ben Shapiro-esque clone as opposed to saying a thing and strengthening their positions. Proof of this is most of these people do not argue for limited government principles, but they call themselves politically conservative. It is an oxymoron. We are watching all across social media right now. Everybody, beginner level, and I get it. You guys, some of y'all are beginner levels to conservatism. You're saying, yes, it's great that the federal government took over DC and they're getting guns off the street. That is the antithesis of a Second Amendment argument. The problem is these people are calling themselves conservatives. They don't understand what political conservatism is. They're presenting themselves as rhinos. They are Republicans in name only. I've heard no conversation in this argument. And again, tonight, maybe I'll watch it. You guys will let me know in the comment section if we should do a part 3 on this, because there's a lot that we haven't even went into.
I'm gonna say yeah, but let me cut in here real quick too on 2 points. One, if you fighting a person like Amanda from like a debate standpoint, the first thing you got to do with someone like her is take away her arguments before she even makes them, and that's what she's done to them the entire. She dog walking them. So just like you always say, the founding fathers with their contradictions. So then she can't be like, well, they were slave. Well, it was like, we already established that, they had the contradictions. So what are we arguing here? It's like, you got to like attack that. And none of these people I've seen so far, maybe AB, I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing. Like I said, I was late today, have done that in an efficient way. And then 2, and this goes back to thank you for smoking. I forgot what scene in the movie is, but his son's like, about the ice cream. He was like, well, I think vanilla's the best. He was like, who cares about ice cream? We're arguing about this. He's like, well, that's not what we're arguing. He's like, yes, it is, because it's about the other people. I don't know. I forgot the way he phrases it, but it's like the best scene, one of the best scenes.
I'll give the breakdown of that. In the scene, the son is writing a thank you for tapping into Super Weapons. I'm gonna bring you down, and I'm gonna bring up Freeze Pop Bobby in a second. Thanks everybody for tapping in. I want to make sure I can get as many people as possible. There's a scene in the movie Thank You for Smoking, which is one of my favorite movies. I tried to get my lady to watch it, you know what I mean, but she don't be wanting to watch the movies that I watch, and I got them on DVD. They all in the RV and all of that, but nonetheless, right? Dre Harden says, "I demand part 3." In the movie, Nick Naylor is a PR person for Big Tobacco. His job is to communicate the benefits of smoking, right? Obviously. With that being the case, I mean, obviously smoking isn't the best thing for you, but his job is to make it okay. Anyway, his son is writing a report, and he says, "Dad, I need some help on this report." And he says, "What's the report about?" And he says, "The report is about why America is the greatest country ever." And the son laughs. The dad laughs, and he's like, "Well, that's kind of bullshit." He's like, "Come on, Dad." And he's like, "Okay, let me articulate the point." He says, this ice cream that we're eating, he said, you're arguing your point from the beginning when the son is going back and forth. He's like, "Well, you haven't convinced me." And he's like, "I'm not here to convince you." He said, "Okay, for you, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?" And the son goes, "Vanilla." And he's like, "Okay, so for you, it's vanilla or nothing else?" And he's like, "Absolutely, vanilla's the best." And he goes, "Well, I believe that vanilla isn't the best. I think if you want chocolate, you should have chocolate. If you want butter pecan, you should have butter pecan. If you want strawberry, you should have strawberry." And that's better because it's about freedom. And that's why freedom is better, da-da-da-da. And the son goes, "Well, you didn't convince me." And he said, "Because I'm not trying to convince you. I'm convincing them." What he meant by that is the people that are listening in the audience, some of them like butter pecan, some of them like chocolate, some of them like strawberry, some of them like whatever. They're more in alignment with me because I didn't say vanilla's the best. I said whatever you think is the best for you because my argument is freedom. That's someone that's skilled in debate, arguing, presenting a position. Okay? None of these conservatives, in order to do that, you have to A, be well-versed in communication, B, be well-versed in the information and the topic at hand, and C, stop going into it, presenting yourself as something that you're not because you didn't do part A or part B. These conservatives have not done part B because they're not studying, they're regurgitating. So I get to say, yes, there is systemic racism in America. As a person that is on the right of center, I get to say that. And then when somebody on the right goes, "No, it's not," I go, "Yes, it is. Gun control. Here's how it was racist. It's older than America. It's still the outcomes right now impact black people more than any other group of people, even though you, maybe as a white conservative, may say, well, black people are only 13% of the population." Okay, cool. If we 13% of the population, meaning less, and we make up a gang of the possession charges for firearms, not convictions, not violent crimes, right? If we make up that big percentage, and this is supposed to be a constitutionally protected human right, how the fuck is that not systemic? They can't argue against me. So the best thing for them to do is get the fuck away from me. Okay? You guys are coming here to learn how to do that. So when some leftist that says everything is racist, you say, like gun control is. And then they go, well, not gun control. Guns are bad. Gun control was started to make sure that black people didn't have the means to defend themselves from racists. Are you defending the racist practice of gun control, my left-leaning friend? They got to shut the fuck up. You're here to learn how to do that. My job is not here for you to just repeat Ben Shapiro talking points. That makes sense to y'all? We got Freeze Pop Bobby, then we gonna go to Protocol. Freeze Pop Bobby, what's up?
Peace, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give me something in the chat if y'all can hear Freeze Pop Bobby.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You saying they should learn more or study more or basically get better at their talking points, but why would they do that if they seem to be winning? I mean, right now the black conservatives that think this way get a lot more clicks and views, and they make a lot of money doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm glad I discovered you because I thought this was the black conservative movement, but you're saying you're different. You talked about libertarianism. You talked about gun control policy. You're talking about policies.
Mm-hmm.
They never talk about policies. All they talk about is black people.
The culture war.
Yes. But it's way more. Look how young these people are. It's way more of them, and they way more popular, and they way more influential than the actual black conservative movement is. The real black conservatives are.
So we're not talking about I get what you're saying, and let me clarify to make sure that I'm receiving what you're saying right. You're saying what would be the reason for Brandon Tatum to talk truth around real black issues, because when it seems like he's winning from being an absolute moron, just being a bootlicker for the state and being the exact opposite of limited government conservative. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, because the more money he makes, the more it solidifies this point of, oh, if I can do it, all these people can do it.
Yeah.
But yet he only go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, he only speaks about the lower tier or the lower half of us, the very small percentage of us. But you know just as well as I know, the guy standing on the corner, smoking weed, drinking the beer, don't affect us as much as a politician or policy does. But they'll concentrate on the. Go ahead.
I want to say a few things. Here's where this is the crux that I want y'all to understand. I've been using the term black conservative for them. They're not conservative. Let me give an example, right?
Thank you for clarifying that. Go ahead.
If I present myself as a thing, I'm good for you. I'm the government. I'm here to help you. You could believe that, but I could not be helping you. But I just put it in the cloth of something that's here to help you. That's what these people do. They are not by definition. We got to stop calling them black conservatives. Jubilee has a vested interest in calling these people black conservatives because, A, it highlights the fake shit that isn't the real shit as conservatism. Because people like yourself, if you stumble across me, you go, oh, that's what conservatism is. That other shit, what was that? There is a vested interest in presenting something as conservative when it's not conservative. These young people are useful idiots in that cause because they don't even know the definition of conservatism. They have had, like to your point, they have no conversation about policy. They haven't talked about, we got the House, meaning right of center, Republicans. I'm a libertarian, but I say we because I'm right of center.
Yeah.
The House, the Senate, and the executive branch are all controlled by Republicans right now. Right now. There has been no anti-gun legislation that has been repealed. There has been no pro-gun legislation that has been presented. And there has been the pro-gun legislation that was in the big, beautiful bill. These same Republicans took it out. They took it out. So there's a difference. Again, Republican in name only. That's what the term rhino means. These people are going against the Democrats more so than presenting what is good for the people. They're not presenting limited government values. They're in opposition to the extreme left, but not really. Because when they're in the position, they, instead of advocating for more gun control, they just don't promote more pro-gun policy. Conservative means constitutionally on point, limited government, saying no more. So when those same Republicans, rhinos, fake conservatives say Thomas Massey doesn't get anything passed in Congress because the job of a conservative public servant is to limit government, not say yes and give government more power. So the massive media psyop that's happening even in this Jubilee conversation is Jubilee is championing Amanda Seales by putting her up against mid-wit, incapable, not strong enough opponents that make it look like a so-called conservative movement. 20 of y'all couldn't handle one woman. That's a media, like, amazing move. But the general public that has no idea what conservatism is won't understand. They go, these people are stupid. So when somebody's in the middle of the fence, they go, Amanda Seales seems to make more sense here. So they go with Amanda Seales if they're newbies. The other argument becomes there's people that's rhinos that's just going to say those 20 conservatives really showed Amanda Seales. They only doing that because they just don't want their team to look like shit. That's all.
Uh-huh. Right.
That's all. And because people like me or Sonny Johnson or insert whatever, we go, fuck no. And we go, y'all are wrong there on this side because our highest alignment is to the truth and the facts. We are not dick riding the state. So when somebody such as yourself goes, my white followers don't feel offended by the shit I say for black people. They don't feel offended because they like, nah, that shit is true. But at the same time, they not hearing me go, yeah, the blacks are just the worst thing ever. We do it to ourselves. They don't see me doing the self-hate shit. I am from the Frederick Douglass cloth. And none of these conservatives have read the life and times of Frederick Douglass. None of these conservatives mentioned Frederick Douglass, who was a fucking Republican. And I bet dollars to donuts. I haven't watched the whole debate. I bet money with me blind walking that these people have not mentioned Frederick Douglass in this entire debate, which is the Hall of Fame top tier best conservative of all time. It's Frederick Douglass. But they don't even bring him up. So saying this to say, what's being presented as conservatism, I give this example, it may not fit for some of y'all. If I'm the Ku Klux Klan and say I'm a Christian organization, but I'm terrorizing humans, am I really a Christian organization? Or am I just calling myself a Christian organization? If I say I'm here to help you from the government, but I attack your Second Amendment rights, am I actually helping you? If I say I'm a limited government, I say I'm a conservative, but I don't understand limited government policies and I advocate for more government and clap that police are being unleashed into DC to take people's guns and clap that the White House is putting people on violating their Fourth Amendment rights, does that really make me conservative? No, that person doesn't know the definition of conservatism. And this is why y'all tap into my show. I tap in and y'all go, oh, I got a better talking point. You're no longer, none of you that are watching this, today's part 2 or yesterday's part 1, or any of y'all that's going to subscribe to the channel, right? Apps, and everybody should be subscribing and supporting the work. If you got some value from tonight's show, support the work. Because we keep talking about the brand. That's our fault. Brandon Tatum is a fucking moron. But the weak-minded white conservatives the lily white conservative movement, if you don't know what the lily white conservatives were and are, Google it, right? They will get behind a Brandon Tatum because he's a fucking moron. They will financially get behind him. But are we financially getting behind the work that solid conservatives and libertarians are doing that's actually doing the work? King Randall should have $10 million in funds already. Don't even get me started on the Solutionary Center in BGM. Our work is cited in a Bruin decision, a Supreme Court decision Black Guns Matter is cited in. I'm going to always rest my hat on that. So support the work. We can't, again, like I said earlier, arguing about how trash Tatum and even Candace Owens switched some of her talking points. If y'all notice, she don't go as hard on black people no more. Y'all notice that? The reason is because it was no longer the same level of financially makes sense. She's trying to expand into a different market. So she starts taking different talking points. And the best one right now is to blame everything on the Jews. It's just what it is. Not saying that the Israeli government is right. I'm saying the opposite. But you pivot if you're smart. She has a better position and talking points, like Amanda. A lot of shit that Amanda says is crazy, but you're not gonna fucking out-argue her with Jubilee 20 fucking teenagers with weak talking points. But that's our fault. Because why isn't Sonny Johnson having $10 million? Why is it? And I keep using Sonny Johnson because it's a point. Sonny Johnson was on this black conservative shit. She was directly up under Andrew Breitbart before he took his life. And I mean that from an employee getting information, right? What I'm saying to you is we have to make sure that we're highlighting and supporting the people that are in alignment with a more robust, conservative, liberty-minded value system and can articulate. Y'all got to champion your champions. You got to support your champions. My job is to go fight this bullshit all day, every day, and teach people about the Second Amendment, health and fitness, all of that. That's why we made Solutionary University. But everybody should be donating towards that. And I'm not saying that in the sense of some fucking Dr. Umar, give me $500 so you can go on a date with Poppy, King Kong of consciousness. I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying the work needs to be funded. So if you are subscribing to the Daily Wire, subscribing to any of them channels that Brandon Tatum and them shit's got, I'm not telling you to stop following them, and you should, but you should put the same amount of energy into people that have a higher level of thought, a higher level of breakdown, a higher level of this is the work that we do. Does that make sense for everybody? I appreciate you, Super Weapons. I think that's who I'm on right now. Is that Super Weapons or is that Freeze Pop, baby?
It's still Freeze Pop, but thanks for having me up, though, brother.
Thank you. For sure, my brother. I appreciate you. We're going to go to Protocol real quick. Protocol, what's up, my brother?
Peace, God. What's good with your family?
Peace. How you?
Man, another day in paradise, bro. Kicking ass and taking names, man.
That's the way to be.
That's it, bro. That's it, man. And this is just interesting, bro, because, you know what I'm saying, you already know I'm a Geechee conservative. That's what I roll with. I'm from the South. I believe in conserving my history, conserving my family, you know what I'm saying, pew life, you know, growing, teaching my kids. And unfortunately, as I tell everybody, man, the quote-unquote conservatives or the Republicans are the only ones who allegedly, dreaded air quotes, are fighting for that. At least when they run for office, this is what they say. So it's like, damn, I can go with the people who are telling me they don't want this shit, or I can go with the people who are at least telling me, like, I can do nothing, but in doing nothing, hold on, what's up, baby girl? Go ahead.
GiveSingo.com/solutionary, support the work.
So, you know what I'm saying, I can do nothing, but then I'm lessening my chances of, you know what I'm saying, my reality becoming a reality. Like, I can go with people who I know who are tried and true California that, hey, no, I don't want you to have guns. No, I don't want you to collect your rainwater. No, I want to regulate your food. Like, I can't fuck with that. So to have, you know, I say all that to say, to have these people who allegedly are black conservatives, right? Youngins, as you stated, come up here and just represent us, dreaded air quotes, in the most horrible way possible. And then I'm on Facebook because, surprise guys, I'm only 36, so a lot of my people are on Facebook still. My family members, my cousins, you know what I'm saying, my schoolmates, like everybody's still on Facebook. So I'm watching them share this Amanda. Oh, she really showed them and she handled them, and see, this is why I can't, you know, get with the black conservatives movement or black Republicans. It's like, nigga, that's not how we think. I'm pro reparations. I believe that we have a history that they have showed that they have paid people who they've done wrong money. There's a history of this. So yes, I want my check. And I don't even want to go back to fucking slavery. Like, I don't even know I can prove slavery in my family. I don't care about slavery. We can talk about the way that the crack epidemic fucked with our families. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about the guns that they dropped in the hood. Like, we can talk about the fucking redlining. We could talk about the things they do right now, provable right now, how the government in certain areas will stop one business from growing, but will allow another business to grow in the same area, the same business, but because they're black, no, you can't do that. Oh, you're Indian? Come on down. Or you're white? Come on down. Or you're Chinese? Come on down. And it's like, wait a minute, bro. Like, huh? That doesn't make sense. So I can go after them for just that money alone when it comes to reparations, which is a repairing of a wrongdoing that was perpetrated by the government on its people that it's supposed to, quote unquote, represent or protect. But anyway, this is set us down a very horrible path. HJ calls it the Democrat Recovery Program. And I believe that this was an episode in the Democrat Recovery Program, right? You got these 20 kids versus Amanda Seales, who, for lack of better, movement, she was looking pretty bad after she, pulled that move, on old boy, saying that he did some very unscrupulous things, right? So now we have this repair that's happening, like, oh shit, we're gonna need some good talking people. We're gonna need some good heads. Pull her in. Get these 20v1s. Like if you're in the culture, 20v1 is going crazy, right? Whether it's the balloons and the dating or all of this. So all of this is happening in the culture, and it's like, yeah, bring her on and bring on these idiots. But no, we need one good one. We need call up ABL. See what ABL is doing. You know what I'm saying? So you throw bros in the mix of all these kids who have no idea what's going on. They're probably so far detached from the culture that it doesn't make any sense. And you can hear it in their talking points. You can hear it in their conversation. They probably was bullied when they was in high school. If they lived in the hood, they probably went to the same school that Jasmine Crockett went to. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, man. I think it's just a bad look, and it puts in a lot of work for, people like us who really don't want to be quote unquote Republican, but because they're right of center, that's typically who we have to I'm gonna say the word in a second. That's who we have to caucus with. That's who we have to vote along with, because they're too right of center. You know what I'm saying? They're saying the same shit we're saying. But I don't know, maybe pros just overlooking this shit, and
I thank you for that perspective, Protocol. You brought up some key points, and I want to I'm gonna take you off screen because I might have somebody else. I don't know if they're there or not, but I appreciate you for tapping in. Listen, guys, make sure that the folks that are tapping in, that are being brave enough to come and share their perspective, even if they agree, make sure y'all subscribing to these channels. We have to create networks of people that are talking that thing, because we say it's not a lot of us. No, you just got to curate your following. So make sure that you're supporting and subscribing to Protocol. Listen, y'all, I want to be very, very clear. Everything that Protocol just said is accurate. He brought us some key points. That Democrat rebrand, when the Democrats get their ass whipped, and I say get their ass whipped as if it may not just be part of the play. I want y'all to be very clear. Democrat, Republican, they're going to keep trying to swing you between both sides to act like you guys are fighting and beating it out with each other, so you're not paying attention to the Federal Reserve, the massive money printing. You notice we ain't talking about the Epstein client list no fucking more. Okay? So I want y'all to be clear on how that, works. But what he said was the Democrats are trying to repair their image. Amanda Seales was off the internet for a while. Then she shows back up, and again, this was filmed in June. But she shows back up and she absolutely demolishes. This is a PR win for the left. This is a PR win, okay? This is a part of that. If I can make the people that just was on absolute bullshit with Biden and Kamala Harris, if they go off to the side and rebrand and come back looking like they got better, stronger talking points than so-called conservatives, we can get them right back in office on the local, state, and federal level. We can keep you not asking real questions. What happened to the Epstein client list? What happened to auditing Fort Knox? Okay? What happened to getting rid of the Department of Education? What happened to no taxes on tips? What happened to getting rid of property tax? What happened to getting rid of income tax? Now we're not talking about it because we're talking about the culture war. To highlight people that are weak at arguing these positions and makes Democrats, I am going to go on record and say it now, Amanda Seales will run for public office in the next 15 to 20 years. No doubt about it. This looks like she's being groomed for a position. That's what it looks like to me. Okay? Saying this to say, you got to look at the optics in the media play. That's what's happening there. These Democrats, PR-wise, when they take an L, even if they're a part of the same duopoly, they got to make it look right. And some people are useful idiots. They are good PR and trying to figure out ways to make the Democrats look great, not knowing that they're even a part of a duopoly. You have to pay attention to that. What we do, the answer to all of these conversations around reparations, if we were on limited government, liberty values and conservative values, we would get rid of the Federal Reserve Bank. There would be no conversation about reparations if we were limited government, held a government to a standard because the people were not advocating for more and more federal expansive government. If that happens, then people would have stuck to what the founding fathers, with their contradictions, said about centralized banking. Your dollar, since 1913, when the Federal Reserve was created, has lost 96% of its spending power. So the conversation around reparations, local businesses, might not even be a conversation if we were promoting limited government values. But if we're not supporting limited government, which is conservative values, that are solutions because we're arguing about the culture war, we're not seeing that. Maybe we should talk more about Bitcoin. Maybe we should talk about community or co-ops cooperating together. Maybe we should be having a conversation about self-sustainable whatever. So if we're not having those conversations because we're not highlighting the conservatives and libertarians and liberty-minded and independent people, and we're just spending our time arguing against the left or highlighting the goofball fucking conservatives, we're not serving the people properly. So when I say, yo, y'all, it's almost 500 people in the chat right now, watching right now. Imagine if out of the let's say 400, let's take a whole 100 off. If 400 people donated $100 towards givesendgo.com/solutionary, we would damn near be done and buy our building that keeps these classes going free to all for everybody. Don't just show up to argue against the left, or if you're conservative, that's more in depth, to be mad at the goofball conservatives if we are not highlighting and getting behind the conservative, liberty-minded, limited government folks that are doing the work. And this is going to sound selfish. I wish we could raise $10 million for BGM in the Solutionary Centers. If we had $10 million in the argument, in the position, a lot of this fuck shit wouldn't even be around. Because it would look as desirable to be that type of conservative or liberty-minded person as opposed to listening to an Amanda Seales destroying these people or listening to a Brandon Tatum or whoever. Are we doing the support? I'm telling y'all we need the support. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I want to thank everybody for tapping in. Y'all tell me in the comment section if we should do a part 3. I like this topic. I'm not even going to watch it. If we decide to do a part 3, I won't watch it. But if we decide not to do a part 3, then I will watch it and maybe put some content up, maybe not on the live sense. But guys, I'm going to ask everybody to do 2 things. 1, if you're watching, I want you to hit a few things, more than 2. 1, hit the like button before we wrap out. I want to see like. Everybody hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on X, please hit the repost. It's free, okay? Also, I'm going to ask everybody, donate to the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. If you're watching on X, it's my pinned post. It's my pinned post. It's right up there. If you're watching this on X, okay? If you are watching this on any other platform, YouTube, Facebook, GiveSendGo.com/solutionary is right there in the bottom of the chat. Let's see if we can get 100 people to donate. Now, obviously, I want everybody to donate at the $100 level. Why? Because you get enrolled in Solutionary University. Meal plans, workout routines, curriculums. I want you to transform your life. Thank you, Protocol. I want you to transform your life. I want you to have the superpowers that I have. I want you to be in shape. I want you to be able to articulate these positions. I want you to give nuanced positions. This comes from years of study. I want you to have a simple blueprint that you could benefit off of my years of study, that I can save you so much time because I got all of the stuff, civics class, firearms class, a community of people talking the PR talking points, shaping each other. This is a superpower. I don't lose debates. I'm not weak. I got a sub-second. I can clear my garment and put 2 rounds on target in less than 1 second. I want you to have that transformative superpower. I want you to be able to provide those things for your family. I want you guys to have an understanding of Bitcoin. We're adding so many people to Solutionary University, and I want everybody that donates at the $100 level, you get the access to all of those classes and them fucking superpowers. I cannot tell y'all how confident and competent I am because of my practice. And I've put it into a fucking thing that you take at your leisure. I want everybody that donates at the $100 level to get access to that. So I'm going to ask everybody donate at the $100 level. Outside of that, donate at whatever level you can if you can at the $100 level. I know you can. I know you can donate at $100. I ain't tripping about that. The question is, do you want to do more than just show up and talk about this shit and chop it up about it? Do you want to actually apply a blueprint that's simple that will help you in transforming your life for the better? Nobody in this chat is going to say, Maj, Amanda Seals would kill you in a debate. No, you won't, because you hear me fucking talk and you know that I know what I'm talking about. That is a skill that we help you with in Solutionary University. So I want everybody to donate. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. Let's get 100 people to donate at the $100 level. Don't wait till later. You got fucking $99. You got it. Fucking do it. Invest in yourself. Not only do we need to highlight the people that are talking this real conservative, balanced, nuanced, empowering thing. Yes, we highlight those folks doing the work, but we need to make more of them. You, if you're watching my show, can be and should be and will be more of them by being one of those persons. Okay? I'm telling you, it's a fucking superpower. I'm in great shape. I'm strong. I'm smart, and I can shoot. Those 4 things along and making that transformation helps, and you do it by paying it forward for others. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. Let's get 100 people to do that at the $100 level. I'm going to send you the email and access immediately so you can start that transformation. And I can damn near, it's almost indescribable. So I want everybody to do that. And if you say you can't at the $100 level, give it whatever level you can. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. I want everybody to share this all over the place. Comment, quote, post it, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, put it on Twitter, TikTok, all of those different things. Make edits of it. Tag me in it so I can repost you. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. If you want, I'm gonna hop on the X right now. Comment below. Let's engage. Tell me if you guys want a part 3 for this tomorrow. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. Thank you all for your support. I will see you all same time, same channel. YouTube.com/Maj2Ray. Be safe. Be